Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadabhacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to the humble devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 31. Narada instructs the Vachetas, Text 18. Tena ekam atmanam ashesha dehinam kalam pradhanam purusham paraisham svatejasa Dvasta Guna Pravaham Atma Ikbhavena Bhajadvam Ada Tenaikam Atmanam Ashesha Dehinam Kalam Pradhanam Purusham Padesham Satejasa Dvasta Guna Pravaham atmaika bhavena bhajatvam adha. Tainaikam atmanam ashesha dehinam kalam pradhanam purusham paresham. Satejasadvasta guna pravaham atmaika bhavena bhajatvam adha. Tainaikam atmanam ashesha dehinam kalam pradhanam purusham paresham. Satejasadvasta guna pravaham atmaika bhavena bhajatvam adha. Tena, therefore, ekam, one, atmanam, under the Supreme Soul, ashesha, unlimited, nehinam, of the individual souls, kalam, time, pradhanam, the material cause, purusham, the Supreme Person, Parisham, the transcendental controller, Satejasa, by his spiritual energy, Basta, aloof, Guna Pravaham, from material emanations, Atma, self, Ekabhavena, accepting as qualitatively one, Bhajadvam, engage in devotional service. Adha, directly. Translation. In commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, He is the supersoul of all individual living entities. And He exists as both the remote and immediate cause. Since He is aloof from the material emanations, He is free from their interactions and is Lord of material nature. You should therefore engage in His devotional service, thinking yourself qualitatively one with Him. Purport. According to Vedic calculations, there are three causes of creation: time, the ingredient, and the creator. Combined, these are called Titayatmaka, the three causes. Everything in this material world is created by these three causes. All of these causes are found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Sarva Karna Karanam. Narada Muni therefore advises the Prachetas to worship the direct cause, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated before, When the root of a tree is watered, all the parts are energized. According to the advice of Narada Muni, one should directly engage in devotional service. This will include all pious activity. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. When one worships the Supreme Lord, Krishna, in devotional service, one automatically performs all other pious activity. In this verse, the words Sva Tejasa Dvasta Guna Pravaham are very significant. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is never affected by the material qualities, although they emanate from His spiritual energy. Those who are really conversant with this knowledge can utilize everything for the service of the Lord, because nothing in this material world is unconnected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanativedandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanmaditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karitivachalam Pangam Langayate Gidim Yakripatamaham Bande Shrigadunditaranam Vancha Kapadrubishta Kripa Sindube Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gauda Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Because the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, He is the supersoul of all individual living entities, and He exists as both the remote and immediate cause. Since He is aloof from the material emanations, He is free from their interactions and is Lord of material nature. You should therefore engage in His devotional service, thinking yourself qualitatively one with Him. So for one who sees everything connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada says here in the purport that those who are really conversant with this knowledge can utilize everything for the service of the Lord, because nothing in this material world is unconnected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we're able to see in that way, then we could utilize everything in Christian service. And the difficulty comes with that is that we may not see that. So therefore, how can we utilize everything in the service of Krishna if we don't have that vision? And lack of that vision is due to material attachment or material attachments. For example, in previous days, I don't know if they still do it now, but at least they used to do it. When there'd be hunters and they'd go out to the forest, different forests, and they would their business was to try to capture a monkey or monkeys, right? Put them in the zoos and so on. So what they would do is they would get a gourd. You've seen a gourd; it's hollow, and they'd put peanuts in the gourd, and then they would hang it on a tree. And then they would be nearby, and there'd be monkeys around. And then one of the monkeys, they probably put up many gourds, but when a monkey would see that gourd, somehow or other they figured out something was in there, peanuts. So they would put their hand in the gourd and grab the peanuts. But the problem is, while their hand was like this with all the peanuts in it, they couldn't pull their hand out of the gourd. Now, of course, if they dropped the peanuts, they could easily do that, but they were really attached to those peanuts, so they would hold on to the peanuts and they couldn't remove their hand out of the gourd, and they were trying. It was difficult. So then the hunter, observing this, would say, all right, here we go. And they would go over and they would capture the monkey, and he'd be in San Diego Zoo or wherever, in captivity. So similarly, material energy or Maya. She offers us the allurements or temptations of a material enjoyment, gross and subtle. Just like there's this idea, we shouldn't let the sand bury us. What does that mean? That we may have been able to conquer or cross many mountains. In other words, able to give up much of gross sinful activity, whatever, illicit sex, intoxication, whatever, these different sinful activities. But then there's the small ones, like compared to the sand. So don't let the sand bury us. So, gross and subtle. Maya offers gross and subtle enjoyment, and we go for it, right? We may go for it. Just like the monkey, goes for those peanuts, and then he can't get his hand out, and then becomes captive. And so similarly, we go for it, then we become captive. We become a captive servant of illusion. Whereas this could have been completely avoided. We just let go. And in many ways, of course, analogies aren't perfect, but most of the time, right? But it's still like that, even though we may be captive, but we just have to let go. But that's the problem. It's very difficult to let go. Once we become addicted or attached, we have this material attachments. But so much of the process of Krishna consciousness is just giving us opportunities to let go. Just like the japa period we have every morning. Or at least 16 rounds we chant every day, right? We're hoping everybody does that. At least 16 rounds a day. It's a time that is there for us just to let go. It means to let go of this world and everything that's going on in the world. Just to let go of it. Same with kirtan. It's a time just to let go. Now, of course, we just don't let go and try to capture the nothing or capture the void. It's not possible. But we let go and we absorb ourselves in Krishna as far as we try. So this is an important aspect to you could say cultivate or to develop, is that we learn how to let go. And if we don't learn how to let go during these periods, japa period and kirtan and so on, I mean, of course, we should let go all the time and just be absorbed in Krishna, but especially these periods. If we don't learn how to do that, then it practically becomes impossible to be able to let go of material energy completely. Let go of Maya completely. So yeah, this is, you could say, a reason why we're not able to see things in connection with Krishna, and why we're not able to use everything properly in Krishna's service is because we don't have that vision, and because we're holding on to the material energy. So therefore, we have to let go. And the material mind, it works in all types of strange ways, and actually illogical ways, if we analyze the mind. One way in which it works is that, for example, people sometimes they like to romanticize about the good old days, right? As if these days are terrible. I mean, Prabhupada, this was brought up to Prabhupada one time. He said, I think Umapati Mahaprabhu. He told Prabhupada in New Vrindavan, Hayagriva there, and he started to say, because, there were some older devotees there, this devotee, that devotee, Prabhupada was there, then Umapati Prabhu started saying, oh, it's just like the good old days. And then Prabhupada said, oh, there's no, good old days. I think he said there's no future days either. There's just the eternal present, right? We're eternal servants of Krishna. So in other words, the mind wants to, is always trying to, like for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one of the austerities of the mind is to be satisfied, right? To be satisfied. So, to always be thinking about the past or dreaming about the future, it's actually a sign of, it's a sign of ignorance, a sign of motive passion, that we're not satisfied. Or you have this, So these are some other symptoms, you could say, of not being connected with Krishna. Of not being connected to Krishna, is that we're not satisfied. In other words, we should always feel satisfied. Not that I was satisfied when I was, years ago when I was doing well in Krishna conscious. Well, why aren't you doing well now? You should be doing well. You should be doing better now. In other words, it should be increasing. The Krishna conscious should be increasing, and we should be feeling more connected. And so much of material existence is we're worshiping things that are not worth worshiping. Just like also Hayagriva, he was saying how there's one brahmachari. Anyway, there's some devotee they were together, and then this devotee he started to appreciate the beauty of a woman. They're both together, and he started there's some woman who walked by or whatever. And then Hayagriva said, "Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. It's just it's a bag. Blood and bones, and just a bunch of nasty elements. Why are you appreciating this and trying to enjoy?" And then this devotee said, "Oh, well, it's all set in the right place, though, These elements are set in the right place." Now, of course, to conquer such desires is not easy. Everyone knows who have tried to conquer such desires. It's not easy necessarily to do that. But the point is that in material existence, people are worshiping so many things, so many people. And it's and it's just not right. I mean, we should be focusing all of our attention, all of our affection on Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. But part of this being, disconnected from Krishna, or some symptoms right now, I'm listing some symptoms of being disconnected from Krishna, is that we are very interested in you could say overly interested in public opinion, what they think of us. This is it's not good, because it's we're not here, we haven't started the Krishna conscious movement to win like a popularity contest or something, within the mass of people, which we're never going to do. If we're actually presenting Krishna consciousness. But in relation to this, there's a thing that I'm not sure where it came from, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would quote it. It said, "Shakto bahi Shaiva Shabhyam Vaishnavo Mataha," which means internally I'm a Shakta. Now, who could say what is a Shakta? worships Durga. Yeah. Internally, I'm a Shakta. Right? And then what else does he say? He says, externally, I'm a Shaivite. And then when I come into certain public assemblies, I'm a Vaishnava. Now, what is this referring to? It's referring to unprincipled religionists who bends with the wind. Meaning, they present themselves in certain ways to certain people according to those people's likings. In other words, if I'm with this group, I present myself like this. If I'm with that group, I present myself like that. And I don't stand for my my beliefs or my convictions. I just, whoever I'm with, I kind of. So, but Srila Prabhupada, he was never like that. He always standed for his convictions, and sometimes it would backfire on him. I mean, I was just reading how it wasn't all just everybody accepted Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was in an assembly one time, and he was saying, he mentioned something about a war and this and that, and speaking about Bhagavad Gita and so on, and all these students in the audience started to lose it. They're calling Prabhupada, calling Prabhupada a Nazi, fascist, and and Prabhupada started leading kirtan and said that most of everybody just got up and left, and a few of them stayed to argue. So it's not that, and there's cases throughout the world where such things would happen when Srila Prabhupada was preaching. So it's not that everyone is going to accept us, or it may be that even a lot of people aren't going to accept us, but that's okay. Because the main thing is that we just stand for our principles, and we repeat the message as it is. And this requires some faith, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport. He mentions this verse, Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioning, this is where this verse is from, this idea, faith. So it's in the Madhya Lila, chapter 22. Wonderful chapter, the process of devotional service. So this is Madhya 22:62. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kaha Suradir Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. So I'll read some more. This is next verse. By pouring water on the root of a tree, one automatically satisfies the trunk, branches, and twigs. Similarly, by supplying food to the stomach where it nourishes the life air, one satisfies all the senses. In the same way, by worshiping Krishna and rendering him service, one automatically satisfies all the demigods. Sound familiar? Just read it the other day. A faithful devotee is a truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, an intermediate devotee, or an inferior devotee. So faith is what classifies one as in different categories of devotees. One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Krishna is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world. One who is expert in logic and in understanding the revealed scriptures, and who always has firm conviction and deep faith that is not blind, is to be considered a topmost devotee in devotional service. One who is not very expert in argument and logic based on the revealed scriptures, but who has firm faith, is considered a second-class devotee. He also must be considered most fortunate. He who does not know scriptural argument very well, but who has firm faith, is called an intermediate or second-class devotee. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. One whose faith is not very strong, who is just beginning, should be considered a neophyte devotee. A devotee is considered superlative or superior according to his attachment and love. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the following symptoms have been given. Alright, so this is Sarva Bhuteshu Yat Pashid Bhagavad Bhav Matmanaha Bhutani Bhagavat Atman Yesha Bhagavatotama. A person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes and understands that all things are situated in him. Ishvare Tadadineshu. An intermediate second-class devotee shows love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is friendly to all devotees, and is very merciful to neophytes and ignorant people. The intermediate devotee neglects those who are envious of devotional service. So we have to be friendly to all the devotees. And very merciful to neophytes and ignorant people. As intermediate devotee. And it doesn't mean that we're just friendly to people who we like, or people who we think are cool, or devotees who we think we are cool, or devotees who have something we feel worth appreciating. Because as time goes on, unfortunately, we may find things within devotees we do not appreciate. Maybe their general mood, maybe their general disposition, maybe what they say, maybe what they don't say, maybe how they dress, who knows? We may have so many reasons why we may not appreciate someone. But if we're able to actually see how this person's a devotee, and even, I mean, it says here that very merciful to ignorant people, ignorant people in general, then these are the qualifications for a second-class devotee. And first we have to control ourselves. If the urge to disrespect, if the urge to belittle, if the urge to not appreciate devotees is there, we have to control it. It's called controlling our tongue. It's extremely important. Why? Because the tongue could send us directly to hell. Same as it could send us to the spiritual world by utilizing it in different ways. So controlling the tongue means we have an urge to speak, but we don't say it. That's called being a dhira. We just don't say it. We control. And of course, the best is just not to have that urge. To actually, okay, well, you know. And it's important because it ruins people's spiritual life, to say the least. The tongue. And not controlling the urge to speak. Because when we say friendly, I mean a lot of okay, you could be kind of friendly, you could smile at someone who kind of friendly, or you could, I don't know, give a Vaishnava a hug or whatever, bow down or something. Kind of friendly interactions, or offer some prasadam. But so much of friendly is in our speech, Like, oh, that person was so, like if someone comes to the temple, right? We should be friendly to them. Oh, how are you? And this and that, and sweet word, trying to talk with them. I've never heard of someone coming to the temple and say, "Oh, those people were so friendly. They didn't even talk with me. They were so friendly. They didn't even talk with me. They just came up and they gave me a cookie and they walked away. They were so friendly." But friendly means they talk. Doesn't just mean smile and walk away, or what to speak of don't smile, and what to speak of not speak to them at all. Just walk like they don't exist. I mentioned this before, but sometimes it's a case when Indian people come to the temple. They're like someone you just give prasadam to and walk away, maybe, if you're not too busy. But sometimes I've seen it's the case. But in many cases, they need Bhagavad Gita more than anybody. They're so confused, so many of them. Sorry to say, but Bhagavad Gita as it is, they need Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. So we could ask them, hey, you have Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is? They say, no. Okay, here, take a Bhagavad Gita, please. They get the right ideas. Not because they're Indians means they're liberated or something. No way. They have some, credit there due to whatever pious and this and that, but they also need a lot of help. Side point. The next verse, a Prakrita Bhakta or a materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. So to not be interested in studying Shastra purposefully or hearing Shastra in terms of classes, one can't actually, this is the description, Prakrita Bhakta, materialistic devotee. So this is the tendency within Sahajiyism. Means people, they just, have illicit sex and take intoxication and chant Hare Krishna alongside with it, right? But they feel there's no need for Scripture. There's no need to purposely study Scripture. Throw it out the window. Burn the books, practically, for all they care. What to speak of? Yeah, there's no need to study, no need to attend classes. So, but we don't say that. There is a need. And therefore Srila Prabhupada stressed it over and over again, study and also attend classes, because, or else one will descend to a materialistic platform. One may be on an intermediate platform, but if they don't do these things, they'll descend or degrade. Consequently, he does not, so because a person doesn't purposely study Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service, so pure devotional service, we have to try to understand pure devotional service. It's not automatic. We have to try. We have to imply our intelligence. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. So because a person's not trying to understand, they don't show respect. Therefore, they see the spiritual master as an ordinary man. Right? So, if they see the spiritual master or ordinary man, what to speak of devotees? What to speak of people who aren't displaying even some external symptoms of advancement, means even socially, such as position, Oh, I respect him because he's the GBC, maybe. Of course, nowadays a lot of people don't. He's the GBC, he's sannyasi, and people kind of absorb the externals. Okay, fine, but there's something to that. But people who are on the materialistic platform, they don't respect that, nor do they respect a person's spiritual position, advanced spiritual position, right? They don't respect the guru. What to speak of other devotees? He may, however, follow the regulative principles, learn from his spiritual master or from his family who worships a deity, period. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is a Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee, or Bhakta Bas, for he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. And then the Chaitanya Charitamrita goes on to explain how a Vaishnava is one who has developed these different transcendental qualities, and it starts listing the different qualities. So, so we have to have faith, and we can't just have faith in Krishna. That's bogus. And we can't just have faith in the spiritual master. That's also, of course, when we say it's not an absolute platform, but means it's okay, it's good, but it's not the best by any means. And we can't just have faith in the spiritual master, Diksha spiritual master. Which, by the way, the Chaitanya Charitamrita states that the Siksha spiritual master should be regarded in the same light as the Diksha spiritual master. We can't just have faith in the gurus as we see them, but we also have to have faith in the Vaishnavas. Right? Why did Kali Krishnadas get so much mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Not because he had faith only in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not because he had faith only in his Diksha and Shiksha spiritual masters. He had faith in all the Vaishnavas throughout Bengal. And And how did he display that? He didn't display it by, oh yes, I have faith. He displayed it by serving them very humbly. What did he do? He ate their remnants of the mangoes. And he would go to all the different devotees, offer them mangoes, and he would eat the remnants. He had so much faith in the Vaishnavas. And if we don't want to do that, at least we should be kind with them. At least we should serve them in some other ways. We may not eat their remnants, okay, fine, but at least serve how we can in any way possible, friendly, respectful. Yeah. But he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because what after all of this, displaying so much faith in the Vaishnavas, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having his feet, he was washing his feet before he would go into a temple, because traditionally they would walk around no shoes. He's having his feet washed, and then this Krishnadas, he appeared. And what did he do? He got a handful of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, 1, 2, 3 handful of water that washed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet, which, depending on our absorption in Krishna consciousness, will mean different things to us. But for anyone who has even a little understanding of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or appreciation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is inconceivable mercy, him getting this. And he wouldn't allow anybody else to do it. But he allowed this devotee to do it. Why? Because he had so much faith. So faith is not is not an isolated thing, that we just have with certain people, but we have faith in the Vaishnavas in general. And we should try to see how our Guru is present in the different on all the Vaishnavas. They're trying to teach us, lessons, different types of lessons. And it's a big problem. I mean, of course, different countries have their different problems, but means there's certain reasons. There is something built into certain, bodies and minds and so on. Birth. There's something going on there, but it's very, we could say even just in the modern age, in the modern mind, it's very difficult for people to have faith in anyone. But that presents a huge problem. And the problem is that we have to have faith in something. And if we don't have faith in Krishna, the spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas, all the Vaishnavas, respect and friendliness and service to all of them, then that presents a problem, because that is what drags us away from devotional service. And people find themselves, chasing a woman, for example. Why? Because they have to place their faith somewhere. I mean, I'm talking about a materialistic woman and, them going after, in a very lusty, materialistic way, trying to satisfy their lusty material desires, forgetting all about Krishna. They go like that. Or to the millions of other options they have. But it presents a problem, because then, if we don't have faith in them, then we have faith in sense gratification. We have faith in that, which is not worth having our faith in. It's just it's a game that we never win. We may think we're winning, but we actually never win. And there's sense gratification, and then there's Krishna consciousness. They're opposite to each other. They don't go well together. So we should try to buckle down and try to control our senses and our mind, and we should try to develop more and more humility and surrender, so we're able to see the value of all the Vaishnavas, every single one of them, and the spiritual master and Krishna. And this way we could have our faith in them rather than sense gratification, which will destroy us pretty much. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always stressing, Trinadapi Sunichena Torodapi Sahishana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, as humble as a blade of grass, very humble, as tolerant as a tree, to give all respect to others and expect no respect in return. Such a state one could chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Such a state one can continue in book distribution. So, in conclusion, we should try to see how everything is connected with Krishna, and there's certain symptoms that are there that if we're not connected with Krishna, there's certain symptoms that develop. We should try to overcome those by the power of Krishna consciousness and service to the devotees and spiritual master Krishna, and develop this faith in the process of Krishna consciousness and different worshipful personalities, which actually all devotees are. So, does anybody have any questions, comments, reflections? Yes, Prakash? Oh, I thought you had a microphone, sorry. You had your cell phone. So in different ages, devotees, they carry different things, you know. It's like in this age, you know, you carry the drop of beads and then the cell phone, you know, it's kind of goes together, but... All right, what about online? Any online question or comment? Okay. Can't hear you. You have something?
I think a standard question which comes to mind, or a typical thought which comes from the mind, is if I humbly have faith in this devotee, if I serve this even a devotee, what if this devotee has certain anarthas, which they may want, you know, maybe my service may kind of exacerbate that, or they may want me to serve them in a way which isn't even helpful to them. And so you think, well, maybe I should just stay clear of serving this devotee because, and maybe someone may have an experience and think, okay, well, I don't know if that was inappropriate, or just think, I don't know if I was really helping, or if I was really, people use the term enabling. So, like when I first joined the temple, I remember helping, kind of helping, serving, you know. And when I first joined, I'm thinking, you know, do whatever, and then I remember having a couple kind of sour experiences of being engaged in service, and then kind of realizing what the other person was doing with their time, while I was kind of like stressing to like cover all their services and things like that. And just maybe having some sour experiences, then I kind of justify my mind. Oh, maybe I just shouldn't, you know, be so humble with this person. Shouldn't try to serve this person. Maybe I should have a little less faith in serving this person, because maybe it'll be difficult for me, and now I'll rest thinking, oh, maybe it's not even good for them anyway. So. But then that can expand to just in general. Well, maybe I'll spend for myself. Maybe I'll just, you know, I don't know the minds of these other devotees. Maybe I should just kind of, you know, not have too much faith. I don't want to have blind faith or. Yeah. So, anyway, what do you have to say about that?
We all have strengths and weaknesses. So that may kind of taint our relationships, you know. Of course, we want to try to have the purest relationships possible, based, you know, Krishna in the center, Spirit Prabhupada in the center. But yeah, due to conditioning, due to bad habits, due to you know, certain strengths and weaknesses, it may taint our relationships, you know. Just like you were mentioning how when you joined, you know, someone was engaging you or whoever was engaging you in services and this and that, and you know, you didn't think that was so right, you know, how they were spending their time, or I don't know, maybe they're spacing out, or as the term goes, spacing out with their time, and you were kind of struggling to do what they asked. So you could say that maybe because of those personalities' weaknesses, that created a situation between both of you in which you felt you were being more or less exploited. So yeah, we should try to, within our Vaishnava relationships and relationships in general, we should try to, you know, we may have those things, you know, there's different strengths and weaknesses and bad habits and condition, but we should try to like control them and not let them pollute the relationship, you know. So that's one thing, because yeah, we're struggling with those different things, Like, for example, if someone has the tendency to get angry, that could pollute a relationship very easily, right? So we should try to control that in our Vaishnava dealings, and dealings in general. But if we can't serve them one way, we could serve them another way, right? If we feel that, oh well, this person, or at least we could learn from them, right? Oh well, I'm not going to do that with somebody. I'm not going to treat them like they treated me. We could learn from them. That way, they're our guru teaching us. But we could also serve them in different ways if we think that the relationship is the way I'm serving a particular person is not really beneficial for them or me, then we serve them another way. And how that may be, there's different ways we could serve devotees. Maybe by our example. We try to be a good example. That's a great way of serving. That's one of the best ways of serving devotees, actually. Just be a good example, of somebody who's surrendered to spiritual master Krishna. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of details and intricacies of the different relationships, and get all into that. But the main thing is if we can't serve them one way, we serve them another way. And different devotees we serve different ways. Like, if you could act as an advisor to some degree on maybe certain aspects of Krishna consciousness that we feel comfortable advising people on, or younger devotees, or teaching them. So much, it's so important, actually, training. It's extremely important. Like, it cannot be stressed more, training. Actually, it can be stressed more. It should be stressed more. But it is so important, unbelievably important, training. Training someone how to cook, training someone how to clean. People have to be trained how to clean, too. How to clean, how to cook, in Krishna consciousness. Training someone how to distribute books. We just started Vijay Prabhu and Damodar Kumar Prabhu. They're doing this book distribution training. It is so important because people, they don't automatically know these things. And devotees have been doing it for numbers of years. They have a lot of experience, how to deal with the fanatical Krishna, or how to have the right mood, through, I'm not saying both of you, failed many times, but generally through experience means there were some mistakes that happened. And then we could explain those to people. Oh yeah, I did this or I did that. It didn't exactly work, but this works, And then people could save themselves a lot of trouble, actually, from getting trained and educated. So that's a way we could serve devotees. We could serve devotees by being a good example, by training, by education, by different ways. Having friendship is a great way to serve. But I would say the main point, and I don't want to keep on going on because I don't want to be too long of an answer, and I don't exactly know if it's even helping the situation, but main thing is that we shouldn't be always second-guessing people and their motives. We should at least give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, this person's sincere, this person's trying according to their ability. Just give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, not always second-guessing, what's up with this person and their motives. So respect them on that level. And if over the course of time it shows that maybe they're not as serious and maybe they're not as sincere as other devotees. Maybe they have more faults than other devotees, and on and on and on, different, you could say, disqualifications. Then we should still try to serve them, even though they may not be super advanced, as according to our conception. But we should try to serve them by helping them in the way we can, being a good example, trying to be their friend. Friendship helps a lot. Actually, like if somebody's, according to our conceptions or according even to descriptions in Scripture, someone's not advanced, what does that mean? That means they need association. So instead of saying, "Oh, this person's not advanced," just kind of, okay, I'm going to go associate with advanced devotees. Okay, it's good to associate with advanced devotees, but this person's not advanced. Okay, but we say this person's not advanced. All right, let's advance together. Let's read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let's chant japa together. Hey, let's go out on Sankirtan. You try to encourage them. So I would say that's maybe hitting at some of the points. Yes, Vijay. Oh, okay. Damodar Kumar, the last man on the mic. Open mic Wednesday.
It's an excellent question. Thank you, Mukunda, for asking that. I think it's especially pertinent for, not everyone's always on a level we like them to be. And Krishna puts us in different situations because there's always lessons to learn. But it seems like for a person, and just to expand on what Balarama Prabhu was saying, in such a predicament where they don't feel completely satisfied under that person's leadership or orders or instructions, it seems like we have one of two options. One would be to either just tolerate and see that through this interactions I'll grow, and I'll make spiritual advancement. And then the other one is just to be respectfully expressive of our feelings, which at probably the highest standard would be to just tolerate and see this is Krishna's arrangement, and this is my situation, and this is what I need to do, if it's absolute in that sense. But for me, I'm usually not on that level, and so if I usually feel much more satisfied if I can just approach that devotee and say, and just reveal my mind respectfully. And I don't know where we usually get somewhere along the lines, and I feel like there can be some middle ground where it'll definitely help, that will help the relationship. But that was just some thoughts that came to mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you. We could voice, our concerns and opinions and views and see how it goes. And if it doesn't exactly work out as well as we want it to or how we want it to, so okay, what can we do? Yeah, so that's a good point. What was the last thing I was going to say about that? Anyways, I'm forgetting, so. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. We should see everything as Krishna's arrangement for my advancement, right? Or for our advancement. So we're in a particular place with particular people in a particular situation, and we should see that, okay, how is this going to help me? We should try to see, what are the lessons I need to learn here? And we will learn if we're open. So it's nice. Not, why did Krishna put me here with this person, and why all this and that and so many problems, and why me, and but say, hey, what can I learn here? And try to, and it could help us a lot actually. So okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.